Hey, my name is Mike Boyd. I've been tattooing for 10 years and I work at Sickle Tattoo in Columbia, South Carolina. I think the day I turned 18 when I came and got my first professional tattoo, which actually was in the same shop that I work at now. It was just a different business at that time, a different tattoo shop. It was kind of like on from that point. I got that and went home, looked in the mirror, and something just felt different. That wasn't just like a visual change to my body. I felt different. I just kind of chased that feeling real hard and started trying to figure out how to draw almost immediately and what the route to becoming a tattooer was and all of that stuff. And prior to that, I just played music and figured I would either do that or burn out. But then, even though I probably couldn't really intellectualize this at the time, when I came in and saw all these people who looked cool, like how I wanted to look, and were doing a cool job and stuff and not dependent on four other people to show up to practice, it just made sense, I guess. There was just something about the way it made me feel. From that first tattoo, I had to figure it out. When I finally got my foot in the door, the shop that I got in at was just a street shop. My apprenticeship was actually way more traditional than a lot of my peers who came up in actual traditional shops by my estimation, because I was scrubbing tubes every day. My boss would print flyers and stuff, and I would have to run them around to the mall and drop them off at every single business, go pick up a million burritos. It was hard, and I didn't necessarily learn a lot about the technical side of tattooing, but I did actually learn a lot about the business of tattooing, the way a shop functions. It was good. I really enjoyed it. People from the outside maybe didn't realize how much time I was really spending doing stuff to enable the other tattooers to tattoo. Just the amount of effort that took. And then also probably how hard it was, because at this time social media was just starting to really get big, or at least Instagram was. So I was constantly on there posting paintings every day and stuff. But I was actually sleeping in my car for a good portion of my apprenticeship and had a young son at one point during that whole period. And yeah, I quit my day job immediately when I got that apprenticeship and just gave myself no options but either figure it out or crash and burn. And I probably landed somewhere in between, to be honest. The amount of discipline that tattooing kind of demands from somebody who takes it seriously and is trying to do the most with it that they can is something that I really, really needed in my life. I really I had a pretty traumatic childhood like every other tattooer or whatever, but I just didn't I didn't have any support or skills to work out all the stuff that I had been through. And I think that by having to be disciplined and be creative and also learn how to navigate working with people really changed how I see the world and how I exist within the world. I think that I'm infinitely more patient now. I think that my self-esteem compared to before tattooing is completely different. I'm not super confident or anything now. I feel like I have some value in the world, maybe a little bit. Yeah, I guess mostly just how I relate to other people. It's made me a better father, friend, and person altogether. Basically, from the time I started tattooing to now, it's just been the world's been kind of fucked up, and I've got kids and stuff. So there have been certainly times, especially in the first 5 or 6 years, where I was just concerned financially that I couldn't make things work, and most of the time by the skin of my fucking teeth did. But my technical ability was up to par, but I don't necessarily feel like that is something that I currently struggle with. I feel like I know how to put a tattoo in. It might not be the best tattoo in the world, but I feel like I can make a tattoo. There's something about my personality that tends to attract people who are kind of more hard on the sleeve. People just tend to talk to me about all kinds of things, and I know that I have spent a lot of my life feeling maybe not necessarily heard or received in the way that I felt like I needed to be. So I really try to hold that space for anybody who comes in and engage with them and have something to say, more than oh damn, that sucks. That's not really something you talk about, is hey, I'm actively trying to hold this space for you, you know? What do I understand about tattooing now that I didn't when I first started? Probably that the visual component of tattooing is pretty far down on the list of like what really matters. The experience of getting tattooed can't really be understated. There aren't a lot of situations where we consciously go into a elective act of pain, and I think that is like a really worthwhile thing to show yourself that you can like persevere and get through discomfort for something that matters to you. There are so many like other aspects too, like the tribalistic aspect of tattooing and how getting tattooed kind of makes you a part of a thing. That to me is really important. I've got plenty of like not technically great tattoos. All my friends have tattoos that are busted, but they're all like tattooed people who understand what it is to be tattooed and to be around tattooing. And I think that that is super, super important. I really appreciate that aspect of tattooing. The most important thing to protect is just to not get comfortable, which I know is like such a repeated answer in tattoo interviews and stuff, but right now, like I've been doing this for a little while and I still feel excited about all the different aspects of it. I'm really into it, and I'm always wanting to learn how to draw a little bit more technically, or like apply a tattoo a little bit better, or just get some kind of broadened horizon in any direction, and I don't want to lose that. I think that that is super important to protect. Hand drawing stuff like on paper is something that I really feel strongly about continuing to do. Not that there's anything wrong with an iPad, I just think that, you know, stuff like that that is tangible and kind of a little bit more organic in nature is important. Same thing with coil tattoo machines. Like, not there's nothing wrong with using a rotary. There's nothing wrong with using an iPad. I've used both of those things, and I do use both of those things sometimes. But I definitely think that it's important to keep both sides of those things intact. As far as like my own career, like I just want to continue to try to be authentic and not do things the way I feel like I should if it's coming from any kind of outside pressure versus like my own intent. Yeah, I guess authenticity is probably the main thing that I want to protect. I just don't want to be anything other than who I am. That's what tattooing is all about for me.